last series on the E1B1A factor. This will be presentation 3, the Lemba tribe of South Africa. And we apologize for the audio on our last lesson. I got feedback that the audio was too low. Hopefully we've corrected that problem on this slide presentation. This slide presentation is about a little-known South African tribe called the Lemba tribe. A tribe living down practically at the bottom, or should I say the tip of South Africa. The Lemba tribe has been proven to be the direct descendants of the tribe of Levi, the priestly tribe of Aaron, the brother of Moses. The Lemba tribe had always made the claim all along that they were the descendants of the priestly tribe of Levi. This is the claim made by Samuel Moeti, who is the president of the Lemba Cultural Association. And I quote, "The Lemba are the original Hebrews." The Hebrew people were scattered all over the world. However, the Lemba crossed into Africa and ended up in South Africa. The Lemba were genetically tested and found to possess the E1B1A haplotype, which traces back to the land of Israel. This is the oral tradition of the Lemba. Around 586 BC, the kingdom of Judah was conquered by the Babylonians, as you probably remember and read in your Bible. I believe it's around 1 Kings, the 18th chapter. You can look it up and see for yourself. The city of Jerusalem came under siege and eventually was destroyed. Many Israelites were killed and many were taken into captivity, but some of them managed to escape the catastrophe and fled into neighboring lands. The oral tradition of the Lemba says that a number of them left before the siege and eventually traveled south to a city called Sinai in the area known today as Yemen. The men that traveled with their families were of the Bubu clan. They lived as traders and craftsmen until war and natural disaster forced them to cross the Red Sea into Africa. They slowly migrated south, and along the way they built great stone cities that even to this day still stand and are studied by archaeologists. Lemba ancestors did come from the Middle East. This short clip documents the Lemba clan and how the science of genetics verified their claim.
Concentrated in the shadow of the Soutpansberg Mountains in the far north of South Africa. To the casual observer, they look and live much like any other traditional Southern African community. But if you scratch below the surface, there are some intriguing differences.
Here I am in South Africa, and there are these men wearing skull caps and talit, shoulder wraps. You would see this in any synagogue in America or Israel, but I never thought I'd see it here in South Africa.
I want to find out how these people seem to have Jewish customs. Samuel Moeti is president of the Lemba Cultural Association.
Pleasure.
So, I'll be honest, I came into this village and the first word I heard was shalom,
yes.
the Hebrew word.
Yes. How's that possible? How is it that the Lemba are speaking Hebrew?
The Lembas are the original Hebrews, and they were scattered, as you know, and they crossed into Africa. So they were scattered all over. So in South Africa, in many parts of South Africa, you find the Lembas who are actually Hebrews.
Hebrew. So the Lembas claim to be descendants of ancient Israelites?
Not claim, they are.
They are?
They are.
Okay.
We are the original African Hebrew. We are scattered all over.
Can you give me a few examples of some of the Jewish
Yes, we don't partake of pork.
Okay.
We don't mix milk with meat.
It sounds to me like the Lemba have a unique culture surrounded by others who do not practice the same way.
That is correct. We always believe that the Jewish people who live all over the world are our brothers because we come from the same root.
Could it be that the Lemba are a lost tribe of Israel? To answer, perhaps the Lemba's oral history, handed down over the generations, can help us make a connection to the lost tribes of Israel. The Lemba's story goes like this. Thousands of years ago, they were forced out of Israel and settled in a place called Senna, which is believed to be the present-day Yemen. There, they lived as traders and craftsmen until war or natural disaster pushed them across the Red Sea and into Africa. Then began a slow migration south. Along the way, according to the Lemba, they built great stone cities.
I hadn't seen my old friend Raulinga for many years. He's one of the guardians of Lemba traditions and was keen to remind me of the uniqueness of his people's culture.
We adore and worship Yahweh, the only one. We don't adore ancestral spirits. We don't worship idols of animals, trees, stones, the sun, the stars, or the moon, which Yahweh has made. Culture is the backbone. It's a unifying force. Now, I know culture changes in accordance with time and place, but the root of culture remains the same. You see, now we have lost touch with our people for about 2,600 years now.
The Lemba were convinced that they were a lost tribe of Israel. The problem was that no one believed them. They appeared to be completely African. But I discovered a number of mysterious legends and customs that were very un-African. Men from other tribes were not allowed to marry into the Lemba. They refused to eat pigs and certain other creatures. They practiced the ritual slaughter of animals with a special knife. And they circumcised their male children at an early age. Many of today's Lemba are Christian, but blend elements of Judaism even into their services.
I'll lift up my eyes to the hills, from whence comes my help.
By the mid-1990s, I'd become convinced that the Lemba claim that they were of Jewish origin could be true. They'd preserved so many Jewish traditions for so long. But final proof only came when the science of genetics was applied to Lemba oral history, and geneticist Trevor Jenkins decided to examine the Y chromosome of Lemba males. His interest had been sparked by what he'd heard about Lemba culture.
The musicologist Margaret Nabarro told me the Lemba were of Jewish origin.
I think she said that their music showed some signs of Jewish influence.
Yes, she did. And so I went with her to a Lemba cultural festival and collected my samples there.
Astonishingly, Jenkins discovered that the Lemba were indeed of Semitic origin. Subsequent research done by other geneticists showed that a significant proportion of Lemba men had a Y chromosome pattern known as the Cohen modal haplotype, which is characteristic of the Kohanim, the ancient Jewish priestly class. They were effectively a lost Israelite tribe.
It was a vindication. For the Lemba, we always knew that we are Jewish, okay? But it was for those people on the outside that had said we're just making claims. You know, that here is proof that one cannot tamper with. These people are who they say they are.
So, if the Lemba have been verified to be Hebrew, is there a slight possibility that there are other African tribes that are Hebrew? Now, here is a list of African tribes that have also been verified to be of Hebrew origin. Now, this is an extensive list of so-called African tribes that have been verified to be Hebrew. And as we know, even from the Bible's account and even from Flavius Josephus' account, when Jerusalem was destroyed in 70 AD, it is recorded by, in the book From Babylon to Timbuktu, that millions of Hebrews left Palestine in the wake of the Roman destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD and migrated into the interior of Africa. So it makes perfect sense that these tribes could be or are Hebrew. And we know that the top western portion of Africa was inhabited by Hebrews that had built great cities in these areas of Africa. So here's the shocker. What makes this African tribe so important, this Lemba tribe? Why is it so significant, so amazing to us as so-called Negroes or African Americans? It is for this very reason. The predominant haplogroup of the Negro is E1B1A. And if the Lemba tribe and bloodline came from Israel, where did we come from? If the Lemba has been verified, or if the Lemba is verifiable proof of being Hebrew, what about Negroes of South America, North America, and the Caribbean, whose ancestors were stolen from West Africa and South Africa? Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. So, should we be surprised? Well, this explains why we are the most hated, most despised, most oppressed, and the most marginalized people in the world. And at the same time, this also explains why we are such an intelligent, gifted, prolific, dynamic, and vibrantly religious people. We descend from the original Hebrew Israelites of the Bible. The Bible is our book. It is our history, our legacy, and it is our story given to the world. We are the children of the prophets. Acts the 3rd chapter, verse 25. Ye are the children of the prophets and of the covenant which God made with our fathers, saying unto Abraham, and in thy seed shall all the kindreds of the earth be blessed. Shalom.